Recording, fabulous. Ah, Wednesday workshop. And it's great to be back. I'm looking forward to what we're going to explore today. Um, but before we do that, I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes. You'll just take a nice deep breath, leaving the day behind and allowing you to arrive here in this time. As you're breathing out, allowing everything to soften. Let your breath become soft. Each breath just cushioning you from the day. Each breath allowing you to be more present, more here now. I invite you to imagine, however you do that, now that your mind is like a window. I don't know how that'll appear to you. Your mind is like a window. It's a window that looks out upon the world. Just take a moment to think about that. Your mind as a window, looking out upon the world. But sometimes, a little like our own windows in our houses, the glass can get smudged. And with the window of our mind, it's the old stories, the half-truths, and the assumptions that we make that distort the view. And so tonight, we're going to look at a way of gently beginning to clean the glass for ourselves and for others in a compassionate, curious, and courageous way. And in doing so, we can see ourselves and others more clearly. Take another nice deep breath in. Just breathe out, open your eyes, ready to go on. So tonight, just wondering whether I was recording, but of course I am. Tonight, we're going to look at probably what's one of the most powerful tools to come out of NLP. And it has Ericksonian influences too. So there's a hypnotic influence in the creation of this thing. And it's called the meta model, which sounds kind of a bit cyber, a bit kind of Facebooky or something kind of technical, but it's really just about one thing. And that's using language to clarify language. Using language to clarify language. So here's the idea. Our brains are constantly filtering reality through three very natural processes. And those three filters of reality are, number one, deletion. If you're jotting it down, do, but don't worry too much because I'll post the full notes up for you. So number one, deletion. And this is where we just leave information out. We filter things out just so as we can function. So for example, you're probably not consciously aware of the feeling of your shoes or your feet until I mention them. And then you become aware of them. Another type of deletion is the paper cut. until we notice it, it doesn't sting. It's only when we notice it we go, "Ooh, paper cut," because our mind deletes out that information. It's not a great important thing to us. It's only when it comes to our attention that we begin to notice it. And we do this in conversation in how we think about things. So number one, deletion. Number two, distortion. So this is when we reshape or misinterpret reality. A little bit like when someone frowns and we think, oh, why are they angry at me? When in reality, they may just be thinking, oh, I don't know what to have for dinner tonight. But we assign a meaning that isn't really there. The third filter is generalization. And that's when we draw a broad conclusion based on limited experiences. So somebody, I don't know, someone's gone into a Weatherspoons once, and the first time they ever went, I don't know, the chef was away, they were having a bad night, and the food was a bit naff. So then they go, I'm never going to Weatherspoons. Their food is terrible. So they're generalizing. They're going, well, I had one experience, so I'm going to imagine that the rest of any experience I ever have in one of those establishments is going to be the same. Another way that you might generalize is nothing ever works out for me. Nothing. Or I always mess things up. I'm always getting it wrong. Things like that are generalizations. And these filters are there to help us survive. Um, Otherwise, we would just have tons and tons of information. It would just be overload. But there's an issue with this because as much as they're there to help screen how much we're processing at one time, these filters also limit or can limit our experience because they create maps of the world that are distorted or incomplete and sometimes just really not helpful. They don't serve us at all. With the meta model, the questions we use help us to gently challenge that perception of reality, to challenge the deletions, test the distortions, and just soften those generalizations. And the beauty of it is they don't do it by confronting. They don't go, well, you're wrong. Of course you get things right sometimes, because let's face it, you've just made that person think they've got something else wrong. It doesn't work. Um, they do it by asking. And by asking, we're getting people just to expand their awareness of that situation or that idea, which can then help. When you use the meta model, you're not using it to deliberately create change or solve a problem. But very often, by using the meta model, the individual you're using it with will kind of come to a solution or a realization that solves the problem. Um, so let's look at a few examples from life. Actually, before we do that, is that all clear so far? Yeah, good, good, good. I've spent quite a bit of time with this one trying to make sure it's. I've just noticed a message popped up as well. Oh, it's in the Facebook group chat as well, Sally, and I have put it in here, but I think maybe because you joined afterwards, it's not. Have you got it? Have you? Good, good. Thumbs up. Marvelous. Um, Excellent. Was there anything else, or did I miss something? People who feel negative will feel they are useless at things, or they never get them right. Yeah, it's true. And this is a wonderful kind of gentle way of kind of helping them out of that mindset. Um, they found 8 genes. Excellent. Right, let's get back on track. So let me give you a few real kind of life kind of examples of times where we can use the meta model. You've got the 12 questions there. So this is just a few examples. There are more questions, but they're like the key ones. If someone says, oh, she makes me so mad. So instead of just going, yeah, or assuming that that person has the ability to make that person mad, we can gently ask, how specifically does she make you mad? What exactly does she do that leads you to feel that? You want to take that one a little bit further, you go, what exactly does she do that you allow yourself to feel that? Because actually, it's us and our response to somebody that creates the feeling, not actually what they're doing. But when we use it, we're not lost in a general emotional fog of, she makes me so mad. We start to get specifics. We're clarifying. It's also a good technique in if you're trying to convince somebody or sell somebody something. So, my TV at the moment really does my head in. Okay, how specifically does it do your head in? Oh, well, the remote control does this thing, blah, 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 and it'll only work from one direction in the room. Blah, blah, blah. Well, in that case, so we have a TV over here with a multi-directional remote control. You can even point it over your shoulder away from the screen and it'll work. Is that something that would interest you? Bang. Someone's going to go, yeah, that's because that's kind of what I'm. So it's another way of helping people feel like they're really listened to as well, just by clarifying and getting more information out of them about the situation. Another one, which we've said already, I always fail. It's a sweeping generalization. So you might say always, all the time, every time. So what specifically happens that feels like failure? Or you can shift it and go, what would success look like instead? If you go on that one, then you can lead it around to the fact that they'll start noticing patterns of success in their lives already. So, when you got here, did you not? I guess that's a successful thing that you've succeeded at. So you didn't fail at that. So I'm just wondering, is it every time? Um, in fact, there was something I think a couple of weeks back that we were talking about. See if I can remember this now. We looked at something. I can't remember what we looked at. And someone said something. Oh, it was when we did the parts work. I knew it was in there. That's impressive for the way my head's been feeling all day. The fact kind of look at the parts work and how you kind of go, okay, so there's a part of you that feels upset at something. So rather than I feel upset, which is just a generalization, there's a part of me that feels upset, which suddenly makes it more manageable, makes it seem like not such a big thing. Um, and then you can explore how that is. And there's a real shift. I don't know if you can notice it in those kind of questions because they don't argue. They open up a space. You're creating a space for somebody to explore their experience and quantify it. Because quite often what we're telling ourselves about the experience we're having isn't actually the reality of what's happening in that experience. Another example, I cannot learn French. So you could challenge it with what prevents you from learning French? Finding more information. You find that kind of information out, then you can come up with solutions as well if you choose to. I can't learn French. You can't even learn a single word. Well, yeah, I know how to say bonjour. Oh, okay. And I guess so you can learn a little bit of French then. Suddenly that sweeping statement of I can't learn French, which just meant the person was not even attempting to, that limiting idea suddenly starts to be not quite as strong as it was. It's a good way of breaking a belief that's limiting someone. So what prevents you from learning French? Can't even learn a single word. Well, I know bonjour. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a word in French. Anything else? Well, yeah, I remember someone saying au revoir was goodbye. Okay. So there's two words in French that you've learned. So is it that you can't learn French or, what would happen if you could? So then rather than somebody always exploring the idea in their head that they just can't do it, you're inviting them with a question to start exploring the fact that they could learn French. Another example, a couple of examples, in fact. got to go to my brother's for Christmas. Okay, what would happen if you didn't? Nothing really. Go and see him another time. Oh, okay. So if you didn't go and see your brother this time, you could go and see your brother another time. So I guess that'd be okay, would it not? Yeah. So do you really have to go to your brother's for Christmas? Another one for that is I have to go to my brother's for Christmas. Who or what is making you go? Oh, I just feel like I should. Okay, so no one else. It's just a feeling that you should. Okay. I'm just wondering if you felt that it was okay to stop, how would that be? Um, why specifically do you feel you have to? Well, it's not like he invited me or anything. I just feel I should go over. Okay, so you're not even invited. So you see how it can open up and explore an idea. It gives you, as the listener, a lot more information about that person's reality and where they're coming from. But more importantly, it actually gives that person a better impression of what's actually going on for them as well. And again, you're not trying to change someone's mind, you're just trying to expand their awareness and understanding of the situation or the limiting belief or whatever it is it's working on. And this one's always a good one. He smiled at me, so I'm getting a raise. How does smiling mean you'll get a raise? Could be wind, you know. Um, or who specifically is smiling? Because he is a generalization. There's lots of he's or she's, but who specifically is smiling? If it's your boss, well, but when you say he, it could be the cleaner, could be the postman, could be the guy you bumped into when you were going to the snack machine. Who's he? Who specifically is smiling? And I just wonder what other possibilities could that smile mean? Maybe he's remembered something that happened last night, or he's just looked at his watch and he's like, "Oh, I've only got half hour to go. That's great." We're expanding the situation. We're inviting exploration and with curiosity. Be curious with this. Okay, what, who, how? Um, and you can be gentle with it. You're not accusing. You're not saying you're right, you're wrong, or you're being stupid. You're just inviting exploration to help that person. But you can also use this to turn it on yourself. So if you find yourself thinking a certain way about a situation, you can run yourself through it. Oh, I've really got to go. Um, I've really got to go and visit my friend Robin. Okay, who says I do? Well, he's not actually invited me over. I guess no one's saying other than me feeling it. Okay, so why specifically do you feel you have to? Well, I guess I don't. And you can start. You can expand next one. So these examples show how easily it is to delete, distort, and generalize. And this is, um, and I know because people still do it, the whole thing around the world with the word try. I'll try to do this. And I know people do it because we'll be chatting and someone will go, I use that try word again. Um, and I do that still because ever since somebody said to me, try not to use the word try, I've been trying not to use the word try, and I do still pick myself up for it when I'm chatting. Um, but I think also if you spend a bit of time thinking about this, looking through the notes when you get them and going through the questions, this isn't complicated, but it's really useful. But I think you'll also begin to notice within your own thinking, your own thought processes, and when you're talking to people, where you are either deleting something, missing something out that doesn't give the big picture, distorting something, so making it seem like something it's not, or generalizing it, making it like a generalization, surprisingly. It's natural. We all do it. But by asking simple, respectful questions, we can clarify the meaning. We can bring unconscious assumptions into awareness, and we can create new options and possibilities. It's not a model, it's not a way of working that's about being clever. It's about being clear. It's not about telling people they're wrong and correcting them. It's about freeing them from the limits that they don't know they're under. And we're going to do some practice on this. We're going to do quite a bit of practice today on this. Remember, when you're doing the practice, you are not interrogating people. It's not a case of shine the light in the eye. Why are you doing this? Um, Sorry if that was a bit loud down there. I kind of got into that. Um, it's not an interrogation. It's a gentle unfolding of meaning. If we go back to the glass analogy, the window, you're cleaning the glass. You're not trying to smash your way through it. So again, is that all still clear? Any questions on that? Everyone's nodding, so I'll take that as good. Marvelous. Um, so there are 12, which is us coming to the questions now. And once you get into these, you'll kind of it's one of those things, it's not too difficult to find yourself just doing it. And you will find your own phrases that do the same job for you, and you will come up with more. And there's books written. I can recommend a couple of good books. You have to do put a yes, please in the chat if you'd like a book or two recommended. And then when I check that, when I finish, I'll go and grab a couple of books and recommend them for you. Um, Most of us kind of like grabbing books, so before we go into our practice, here are the 12 kind of core meta model challenge questions. 12 key questions to help you just gently challenge deletion, distortion, and generalization. You don't have to memorize them. Just keep them nearby. I think everyone's got them now. And just use the ones that feel natural to you. Some of them don't. Some of them you go, oh, I say that all the time. Um, but this is about kind of knowing the right time to use them where they can be really powerful and useful. So question one, what specifically? What specifically? Oh, it's really doing my head in. Sweeping. What on earth is it? When you think about it, how many times you someone go, oh, it's really doing my head in. What? What is, you know, what specifically is actually doing your head in? What is that? Um, Who specifically? They're really doing my head in. Again, a general generalization. Also a deletion because they're not giving you a specific name or a person. They're just doing my head in. How do you know that? If someone says, "Oh, they're always talking about me," how do you know that? They think bad things. A classic one is, "Oh, I know they don't think very much of me." How do you know that? Because unless you've stepped inside their head and read their thoughts, you can't possibly. That's just mind reading, placing what you think somebody else is thinking about you in your head. So how do you know that? And Garrett, first response you usually get, they look at me funny. In what way do they look funny that allows you to know that? And how do you know that? I don't really. I just think that's what. Oh, so you don't know that they're thinking horrible things about you. You just think that they may be thinking about, oh, I guess, what if they're not? Yeah, you see how it all links in. You can kind of, what causes you to think that? So what's making you think that? Um, she looked a bit funny at me the other day, which means that she's going to have a go at me before too long. Who specifically looked at you funny? Oh, okay, your line manager at work. Okay. Um, and how does that looking funny at you mean she's going to have a go at you? I mean, how do you know that? Usually with generalizations, I'm always unlucky. Always. Nothing good ever happens to me. Never. Every time I go to the shop, but no, every time I sit in a bus, I always get that mad person that sits next to me. Um, every time. Okay, well, there was that time when we went on a coach trip and I sat next to Doris. Doris is all right. She's only partly mad. Okay, so not every time. Sometimes you get the only slightly mad ones. We're exploring and expanding the situation. Compared to what? I'm rubbish at this. Compared to what? Compared, compared to what? Compared to who? Opens it out, encourages, curious. Okay, I want to know. If you're rubbish at this, compared to what? I really, really should. Should's always a one. Really, really should do this. Well, what happens? Or shouldn't do this, should I say? Well, what happens if you did? What would happen? What would happen if you did not? I really, really, really want to go and I don't, please don't take this literally. I really want to go and do a skydive. I really want to do it's pure a demonstration. I really want to go and do a skydive. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? What would happen if you did? You might die. Always? Only once. Um, so what's stopping you? How will that affect the rest of your life? That's quite a powerful one. I really want to do this thing, and I've got this idea, but it's a bit of a gamble. Okay, how will it affect the rest of your life if you do this? Well, that means I've tried something, it'll boost my confidence. Okay, so doing this will boost your confidence, and you can feed it back to them. Doing this will boost your confidence. That's a good thing, right? In what way? How does that doing this mean that your confidence will be boosted? Really explore it. Use it to explore the inner map of any belief or idea or deletion, etc. Um, I really don't want this. So, what is this specifically? Okay, I don't know. I'm going to say a jam turnover. What do you want instead? Well, I'd really like a slice of apple pie. So, what would happen if you had a slice of apple pie? Well, I'd feel great. What would happen if you had a slice of a jam turnover? Oh, they always make me feel a bit sick. It's a way of exploring the situation, helping people explore it and find more options, more choices. How will you know when you have it? And this one I know I've used quite a bit in different forms in different times, especially when you're doing kind of initial chats with clients. So someone will say, "Oh, I have a fear of spiders." Okay, so you have a fear of spiders. How bad is that? Once left the house for a weekend, couldn't go back in. Okay, so what was stopping you from going back in? Well, it was there waiting for me. I mean, how do you know that it was waiting there for you? Well, I just thought it might. So you just thought it might be there waiting for you. I mean, does that happen every time you go out of the house? Well, no. Um, you will quite often as well when using these means of questioning. It can facilitate laughter because people kind of, as they're exploring it, sometimes will realize the silliness. Because a lot of our situations we get caught up in, when you start expanding them, they're quite silly. And the unconscious mind will have that moment where it goes, oh yeah, and quite often the people get, that's really silly. Of course, the spider wasn't waiting there for me. Okay, so you know it wasn't waiting there for you. So how will you know when you've overcome this fear? Well, I'll be quite happy to walk in and have them waiting there for me. Okay, so it's again, you find information in that situation. If you're doing a bit of hypnosis for someone, if someone you've got a friend who goes, "Oh, you've done a bit of hypnosis. How um, I've got to go. I've got to go flying. Going on holiday, and I'm feeling a bit worried about the flight. Um, okay, so how are you worrying about that specifically? Well, because um, because it might crash. Okay, so I'm wondering what causes you to have that thought at the moment. Well, I was watching this film. Okay, so I guess in the film it crashed, right? But do they crash every time? No, no. Okay. it's okay. You've got this fear. We know now that they don't crash very often, in fact. So when you no longer have this fear, which is a direct suggestion, by the way, when you no longer have this fear, how will you know when you're free of it? How will you know when you're free of it? Well, I'll wake up and I won't be worrying and imagining that film happening. Okay. So it's a real good way of exploring, finding out where people are at. It's a way of exploring their outcomes. If somebody's wanting to have a certain outcome through a coaching session or hypnosis or just through a general chat, if you can use the meta model to find out where they want to be, you can also help them then explore that, because the more they explore it, the more likely they're going to find routes and ways into that new headspace, that new way of being. So use them as a gentle compass. We're not there to catch people out. Like I say, sometimes it's surprising how powerful this is. Sometimes you'll get people burst out of laughter. Sometimes you might get them cry, um, through just realizing. Um, but we're doing it for nothing else, to guide them back to clarity. Always think of that window. Yeah. When you're using these questions, you're helping someone clear their window into the world so they can see more clearly. And usually when we can see more clearly, whatever we thought we were facing or difficulty we were stuck with, we realize we can deal with. So I'm going to invite somebody, doesn't matter who, um, just to pop on your microphones, and to make some sort of vague, limited statement with a generalization or a deletion, um, or a distortion within it. Just speak it out, someone.
I'm rubbish at art
Okay, I'm just wondering how you know that.
because I feel that it is awful.
So
What
you,
I produce is awful.
so what specifically is awful about it?
It's never as good as everybody else's.
It's never as good as everybody else's. Every time?
Yeah.
Every time. So I'm wondering what's stopping you from improving that. See, and you
um,
get to that point, your mind
yeah.
starts exploring, doesn't it? Yeah, it
Well,
starts going, oh, sorry, Karen.
no. Well, I have now worked out that I'm not rubbish at art, and Sally was shaking her head at the bottom there. Um, and I know because you find the right person to teach you or nurture you to do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's it's you don't it doesn't make you feel like yours is any worse than anybody else's.
Hmm.
So consequently, I always used to think I was rubbish at painting,
Yeah.
and I've done several pieces of art now that are actually quite good,
Yeah.
and even I think they're quite good. Um, but it's only because I found the right person to teach me how to do it, or
Yeah.
to do it with me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And what these questions can brilliantly do, you get somebody who's like, oh, I'm rubbish at art, I'm going to give up. And these
mm,
questions can lead somebody to kind of go, well, actually, maybe I'm not rubbish, maybe I'm just still learning, maybe, and then they can do like you've done and found somebody to teach that. Um, so
that's
yeah,
exactly how I feel.
yeah, yeah, wonderful. So yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to have a breakout practice and we check the time. Blooming heck. I won't do it for as long as it suggests on here. We'll just have a few goes. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the breakout rooms. One of you will be person A, one will be person B. Person A, chat for about a minute about a mild problem or a thought. Now, this can be I used to be a nightmare when I did my counseling training, because I'd make up these weird scenarios that were hilarious and stupid and deliver them with such deadpan, and people were having to practice their counseling skills around it. I don't mind if you do that. Um, the aim of it is though, person A will speak for about a minute about um about either a problem, mild problem or thought they're having at the moment, maybe a place where they feel stuck, or some weird made up scenario, whichever you want to do. Person B is going to be the listener, and I want you to listen out for deletions, what they're not saying, where you kind of go, there's something missing there. Distortions, where it's, they're going, oh, it's like this. And you go, is it really? I wonder, how do you know it's like that? What makes it like that? Um, and generalizations, she, he, they, all those kind of generalizations. And person B, gently ask a couple of clarifying questions to uncover some more information. So you can, and you're just looking from yourself, you're kind of listening out for those note deletions, distortions, generalizations. If you're person A, notice when you're asked the general questions, how it then expands and makes you think more about the situation. Few helpful starter questions are who specifically, what specifically, how do you know that? What would happen if? Um, so if people have deleted information, so not, he gets on my nerves, they've deleted out who he is. What? Who specifically? Who? Oh, that time when something happened. When? Where did it happen? Yeah, there's bits of information that don't give you a full picture. So you ask what specifically, who, when, where. Distorted, when the meaning of it's distorted. Oh, they did this, so I know it means that. How do you know that? What makes you believe that causes this? And generalizations, sweeping generalizations, they always think that. Always? Or compared to who? You know, think about it. I'll create the breakout rooms. Let's find the thing. Where is the thing? It's moved again. Share, React, host tool, apps, pause, breakout rooms. There we go. Automatically, how many of us are there? One, two, three, four, five. Ooh, so we're going to need three. We'll do it automatically, and I'm going to end up jumping in with someone. Mm-mm-mm-mm. We'll do. Let's go for about 5 minutes each way, if everyone's all right with that. And that gives us about 10 minutes. I'll pop by as well and see how we're doing. Here goes. Oh, I don't want to close all rooms.
I have to confess, I have absolutely no idea what I'm meant to be doing because I wasn't listening because I got too excited about them having found the DNA. But I'm not going to apologize for it
No,
because
no,
I
it's
think
good.
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I've
Um,
just been messaging all my other friends without me to tell them there's hope.
oh, that's good. That's good. Basically, those questions, listen to whoever you end up with talking about an issue or problem they've got,
I
or
still
they
can't
make
see
it
the
up.
questions.
It's basically ask them questions that encourage them to expand the bits that they generalize on. Yeah.
Right. So
Using
like
your,
the
sorry.
just like the I can't do art.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what is it about art that you
That.
can't
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. How
So
specifically can you not do it?
make it more
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah. Imagine, yeah, you're basically investigating what they're saying to get the bigger picture.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. And presumably trying to help them realize that what they're saying is false?
No, no. All
No?
you want them to do is gain clarity of the situation they're talking about.
Okay, I can do that.
So
Thank
it's
you.
it's really person friendly. It's a real gentle way of getting someone. You're basically expanding their awareness of the situation, and within that expansiveness, at some point they will make their own realizations. Yeah,
Okay. Gosh,
cool.
you know what? I think it's probably the best day of my
Oh,
life on the page and have a practice.
yeah, and I'm going to put the whole thing that I've been using for the session up as well, so you'll have all the explanations again and everything. So, um, so let's coming to the end of this now. Um, my challenge, first of all, for you for the week ahead is do try and get some of this into practice in conversations. It's so conversational, it's ridiculous. So it's not going to look like you're a weirdo. Um, I mean, if you do it on every single thing somebody says, then it might. But if it's somebody that's asking for a bit of advice or you're having a bit of a chat and you see an opportunity, drop in a few little bits. Help, just practice it. No one will ever even know you're practicing. Um, the challenge is bonus points if you get somebody who goes, whilst you're doing it, oh, do you know what? I never thought about it that way. Because that's the moment you've introduced possibilities and you've put in place a possible shift for that person. It's a real time. Or they'll laugh and yeah, yeah, no, do you know what? I've never thought about it like that. It's quite a lovely moment when it happens. It's usually quite joyous. So that's your challenge. That's your homework. Try and drop it into conversations. And if by next week you can turn around to me and go, I got somebody to say I never thought about it that way, then awesome. So let's just come back to now. Gently kind of come back into that kind of stiller place where we started. So you may want to close your eyes. Um, just take a nice deep breath in. And just breathe out. Because every sentence we speak, every story we carry is just one version of reality. Some of it's true, some of it's borrowed, and some of it's longing for clarity. And the meta model that we've looked at this evening reminds us there is always more to the story. And when we listen deeply to ourselves and to each other, the world becomes less confusing and more compassionate. So hopefully you can leave tonight with a softer sense of presence and a clearer lens and a deep knowing that the right question really can change everything. And I hope that the questions you do ask lead to clarity, compassion, and freedom, either for yourselves or for whoever you're asking. Take another nice deep breath in. Breathing out. Open your eyes. Feel good?